When you are listening to the testimony today and this defendant who chose to testify in his own behalf, what was your opinion about that testimony?
So Judge Ashley, you've been doing this a long time, and I as well. That was very difficult to watch. I found it extraordinarily incredible and not reliable in any way, shape, or form. I suppose I understand where the defense was going, putting him up because they really had nowhere else to go. But in my opinion, they dug a really, really deep hole, putting this gentleman on the stand. This young woman, I, whatever occurred, I don't think they can make any sort of case that it was anything less than an intentional act at this point in time, based on the testimony of the defendant.
But Jamie, I agree with you. I almost feel like they had to do it because they did have two versions when he talked to first responders, then again when he was interviewed, and then he talked to his parents of, oh no, I think she accidentally shot herself. And I think the only way you can go from there to self-defense is for him to testify.
It's one of those, you're doomed if you don't, you're doomed if you do. I think that the play here, in my opinion, would have been some sort of argument, which has really been played out by the prosecutor, that these folks were addicted to drugs and there were domestic issues, and to make some sort of argument for a lesser included. But for him to get up there and carry on the way he did, I think only lays out one thing, because as you know, there was a lot of talk today about jury instructions. And one of the instructions that the jury is going to get, without question, is this takes different forms, but if in the event you feel that the defendant or any witness lied at any point in time, you can disregard all of their testimony. So I think that this is where they're going to find themselves, and they're going to find, I suspect the prosecutor is going to say, disregard everything this defendant said and believe our theory. And I think that his testimony is going to support that. And, for better or for worse, it's a big problem for the defense.
And I want to listen to a little bit of his testimony together. But first, just quickly, do you think that the state did an effective job? Because she got him to admit, I lied, I lied, I lied. And then he'd change it a little bit and say, well, that wasn't a total lie, or I didn't completely lie.
She was extremely effective. And I would say that, to the defendant's credit, I suppose, the one thing that he was able to do is, he was spinning so many different stories that at some point, I believe I wouldn't say she gave up, but, there becomes a point in time when it becomes so murky that you kind of throw your hands up in the air. And I think at the end of cross-examination, she was there. And I don't believe it affected the force of cross-examination, but I think she ran out of questions, because at what point in time do you just stop asking for a clarification of the different lie and the different lie and the different lie? So I think she was extremely effective. I think the defense has a big problem based on the testimony that occurred today.